So one of the most common questions I've been getting recently is, should I go for the Panasonic 24-105 or the Sigma 2870? And of course, these questions are coming from people that are relatively new to the L mount and are looking for a really versatile lens to start off their kit with. As most of you already know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I have an absolute affinity for the Panasonic 24-105, considering it was the only lens I used for the first 10 months of being in the L mount system. And recently, the Sigma 2870 joined my kit as well. So in today's video, I'll be covering the pros and cons of each lens so that you can better decide what lens is fit for you and the one that you should invest in. First of all, let me address the elephant in the room and discuss briefly why this comparison is actually unfair to start off with. The Sigma 2870 is meant to be rivaling the ever popular 24-70 lens, given that it has the same fast 2.8 aperture, it's as versatile, but it's smaller, lighter, and less pricey. But of course, you do lose out somewhat on build quality and also 4mm on the wider end. The 24-105 is a different lens altogether, and of course has been made to be as versatile as possible with the widest focal range as possible without being ridiculously big that everyone's scared away by it. And because of this, both lenses have their compromises. Of course, the 24-105 has a max aperture of f4, whereas the 2870 has the same fast aperture of the 24-70 in the sense that it goes down to f2.8, which is really nice. But of course, with the 2870, you're missing out 4mm on the wide end, and you're missing out a huge 35mm on the telephoto end when you're comparing it to the 24-105. And trust me, 35mm, so the difference between 70mm and 105mm is massive when you're shooting. Therefore, if you need more reach, then the 24-105 will be your given option, but if you want the better low light performance capabilities, then the 2870 will be your better option, right? Well, it's actually not that simple. There's pros to both lenses that go far beyond the typical focal range and max aperture comparison, and I think it's these points that should really determine which one you buy. So let's start off with the 24-105. It has optical image stabilization, and let me tell you, paired with a Panasonic S1 or the Panasonic S5, it is extremely impressive when you're hand holding for video or even for photo at the wider end, which means that you can actually get your shutter speed down a lot slower than you will be able to, let's say, with a lens that doesn't have this sort of stabilization built in. This for me is actually one of the reasons why I'm so obsessed with using this lens, purely because I like to shoot my video handheld quite a lot of the time, and this lens paired with my S5 is absolutely fantastic for that use case. So therefore, if you are planning to shoot a lot of handheld stuff, especially when it comes to video, then technically the 24-105 will be your better option because the 2870 does not have built-in stabilization, and you'll be left with just the IBIS inside your S5 or your S1. And although that is really good, paired with the optical image stabilization found inside, let's say, a Panasonic 24-105 lens, it's not going to be nearly as good. The 24-105 also has better macro capabilities, considering it is actually considered a macro lens, and that means that you can focus a lot closer to your subject, and the actual minimum focus distance is a lot shorter. And this for me actually makes this lens absolutely fantastic for product photography. The 2870's minimum focus distance is 35cm at 70mm, whereas the 24-105 has a minimum focus distance of 30cm at 105mm. This is extremely noticeable when you are in real life shooting scenarios, and this is also why I'd say that the 24-105 will be my preferred choice when I am shooting product photography, purely because I can get closer and focus on those finer details. Okay, so now let's move on to actual image quality and sharpness of both of these lenses. They're both plenty sharp for every application you want to use them in, and personally I'm not a snob when it comes to how sharp a lens is. Most of the time our images and videos are being uploaded to places that compress the image anyway, so therefore I don't really find that the difference in sharpness matters too much, especially when you're using it for delivering content, let's say for clients and stuff. And of course, unless you're just sitting there looking at your 4K monitor all day long and don't actually want to deliver the content to anyone, then realistically I don't really see sharpness as much of an issue, and I actually think that both of these lenses, like I said, are plenty sharp enough for literally every single application I've thrown them in. With that being said, one of these lenses is slightly sharper than the other, and that is the 28-70. There's something about the way that Sigma lenses render images with their own flavour of micro contrast that really makes the image feel rich and sharp. And while the difference is very slight in the grand scheme of things, I would say that the 28-70 does look a hair sharper overall. The 2870 is also smaller and lighter than the 24-105, so if you are someone that walks around for long periods of time with your camera and your lens, then I feel like the 28-70 will probably be a better choice for you, of course, if you are trying to keep your setup as compact as possible for general walking around and stuff. Okay, so now let's talk about something that I'm sure a lot of you guys care about, and that is the autofocus performance from both of these lenses. As everyone has come to expect by now with the L mount, you do actually get slightly better AF performance with native Panasonic lenses, and in my testing of both of these lenses, I would say that the 24-105 is a hair better and more accurate than the 28-70. However, I was actually quite surprised when I first started using the 2870, and it's actually not too far behind the 24-105, and definitely not as bad as I was expecting it to be when everyone talks about Sigma lenses in terms of the AF performance with the S series of cameras. For photography, both of these lenses are quick, accurate and effective, so if you are just looking to use these lenses for photography, then AF really won't be a factor to consider. So to summarize this comparison, here's the lowdown of what lens I would choose for each shooting application. If you're looking for the most versatile lens of the two and you're hoping to shoot everything from product photography to vlogs to, let's say, documentary style video where you'll be shooting handheld quite a lot, then I would say that the 24-105 would be the better option for you because of its image stabilization that's built in, and because it has a slightly wider focal range at 24mm compared to 28mm, then it would definitely be better for that application. However, if you are prioritizing better low light performance, size and weight, and of course a slightly more pleasing image quality, then I'd say that the 2870 is the lens to choose for you. Of course, you won't get as much flexibility as you would with a 24-105, but it is smaller, it is lighter, and the images are absolutely superb. If I'm being completely honest though, both of these lenses have a place in my camera bag and I use them just as much as each other. So therefore I do think that both are very, very good options if you're looking to invest in a new lens for your Panasonic S5, your S1 or your S1H, or even your S1R. That camera never gets any love. But yeah, I do think that they both have a deserved place in anyone's kit. And I do think that you should invest in both of them at some point if you are looking to invest in lenses for the L mount. But what it really comes down to is what you're prioritizing right now in this moment. Of course, like I said, if you're prioritizing as much versatility as possible, then the 24-105 will be my shout. But if you are someone that wants to have the best low light performance and the lightest and most portable lens possible, then the 2870 will be my shout. But either way, both of them sort of stand in their own sort of realm of things in terms of what they can do and how useful they are. So therefore, none are better than each other, but they're just good at slightly different things, if that makes sense. I enjoy using both of these lenses so much, and to be honest, I shoot probably about 99% of all of my paid corporate work with just these two lenses. So no matter what one you'll pick, I can ensure you'll be a very happy camper indeed. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you find it somewhat useful, entertaining or interesting. And if you did, then please consider subscribing to the channel because I do make a lot of content here based on the L mount ecosystem and the Panasonic lineup of full frame cameras. So if you're into that sort of thing, then this channel will be for you. So yeah, hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Thank you.